Tony, you put a few horses over the course proper here this morning at Doomben. Let's first talk about a man to match. He's in the Chairman's this weekend and up to a trip to suit.
Yeah, definitely had a few too many runs, I guess, at the mile now, just trying to get ready for this type of race. Worked nicely here this morning over 6 furlong, and he's really starting to peak up in his prep and, most importantly, getting out to the right distance.
You're going to run GARIBALDI in this weekend's feature, the Fred Best Classic. It's always a terrific race, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good race. We've fitted him with the crossover noseband. He's going to have his mouth open and race a bit savage his last two. Certainly surprised me up sort of leading the other day at the Gold Coast in the Guineas. So we'll endeavour to ride him a little bit quieter. His work here this morning was good, over 1,000 with Silvera. So really happy the way he's going, just need to fix his manners up.
What about the ladies you're going to step out this weekend in the Helen Coghlan Stakes? Let's start with KRONE first. Well, she raced first up last start.
Yeah, she was very disappointing first up at the Gold Coast. She wanted to get on one rein, do a lot of things wrong. I thought since then she's come on really nicely. Before that she'd done a treat for me, so she was a real head scratcher at the Gold Coast. I'll just put it down to an off day. Her work this morning was very good at Eagle Farm, very pleased with how she's going. Hopefully she can draw kind and race a lot better on Saturday.
Chris, you've got two runners in this weekend's feature race, the Fred Best Classic. They both went around in the Gold Coast Guineas last start. So let's start with Stampy, because he works by himself this morning on the course proper.
Yeah, well, Stampy's been in work quite a while now, Bernie, and had a few runs. So he's and he works pretty strong on his own anyway. So he just had a look around and stretched his legs a bit, but he goes into the race quite fit now. I thought he was a bit above himself the other day in the Gold Coast Guineas. Probably might have raced a little bit fresh. Well, I mean, he'd been, I think, 3 or 4 weeks between runs. So, as I said, he was a little bit fresh going into that. But he's come back to us nice now. And as I said, he likes Doom and he likes the 1350.
Skating ran fourth in the same race. Now, he galloped with Starkers as a mate this morning. What did he do on the track this morning?
Oh, he just ran a nice half mile with a mate. I mean, they didn't run, exceptionally fast time, but the track was quite soft and quite heavy. So it was just enough work for him. He's a light framed horse and doesn't need a lot more than that. I thought his effort in the Gold Coast Guineas was quite good. At some point of his career, I think he'll probably get out to 2,000, but just at the moment, I think he's probably not quite ready for that, but he'll certainly run a mile. And I think the 1,400 at Eagle Farm will suit him nicely.
River Racer will go around in Helen Coghlan en route to the Stradbroke.
Well, it's an automatic entry. If we can win Saturday, we get straight in, and that's probably our only hope of getting in the race. But if she runs in the top 3, we'll be aiming for the Stradbroke for sure.
She worked with Mashani Hustler. It looked very sharp work.
Yeah, well, Hustler was actually behind her. He was only going 1,100 up 400, and she went 1,300 up 400. So they sort of worked a little bit apart, but they both went the line strongly, and happy with both horses.
How do you think she's likely to line up in this weekend's race?
Well, hopefully she's. I think she prefers the bigger tracks where she can get out and run home, but she has won here before, so she's definitely a chance.
Chris, you put a pair over the course proper at Doomben this morning, Plutocrat and Boomtown Lass. Tell me about the work.
Yeah, their work was really, really pleasing. Both horses actually trialled last Tuesday at Doomben, so they're very forward and they're very fit. Boomtown Lass is an interesting horse. She was, at her most recent start, a winner, an impressive winner, I thought, on that occasion, but the Winter Carnival then got called off, and we actually had her on a float on the way to the paddock, so she had a little 2-week freshen up. In hindsight, Bernie, it's been a blessing in disguise, because she was up a reasonable amount of time, and it just allowed us to give her that little freshen up. She's come back in terrific order. Her trial here last Tuesday was terrific. So I think she can go there and be a live chance on Saturday. Hopefully she can draw well. That's, I guess, the query with her from the 11.10. But she's a smart little horse. There's a ton of speed in the race. They'll stretch out, and hopefully she can find a spot.
Yeah, so she'll take her place in the Hinkler?
That's correct, yeah. We're trying to get a little bit of black type for her this time in, so she'll only have 2 runs this preparation. She'll go and have a break, and then we'll try and aim her for the Summer Carnival.
You've got D-Day Diva in the Pam O'Neill Stakes, a listed race now over the mile. Gosh, I reckon she's racing well.
Oh, we love her. She does herself so proud. We're proud of what she's doing. Been stiff. She's bumped into a few good horses her last 5 or 6 runs. So we popped her out in the paddock, gave her a little freshen up, and she came back, and she was so brave at Caloundra. She had to make a really wide run after having to go back from a bad alley. And she was brave, and she only just went down. So she's one of our better chances on the day, I feel.
What about Emerald Kingdom? We saw him gallop on the A-grass over at Doomben this morning. What did you make of his run in the Chief De Beers first up?
On paper, probably disappointing, but I'm willing to forgive the horse because he can be a little bit of a a screwball between the ears. I'm not saying that he was that night, but he jumped from an awkward alley. He sat deep most of the way. His work subsequent to that run has been super. He worked really, really good this morning, and we're going to see a much improved run from him on Saturday. That I can just about guarantee.
Yeah, so you feel like he's back to the best Emerald Kingdom we know?
I reckon he was the star track worker of my team this morning.